about half or so people already on the webinar. So again, thank you so much for being on time. We have with us tonight as hosts of tonight's event, Jamie Lynn Curley, Kristen Max, and Connie Morris-Reese, all Isagenix brand lovers. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Tonight's webinar is really about how to stand out and stand above the rest of the industry. So not only Isagenix, but network marketers in general. So the value of really branding yourself is to kind of set your own pace on building a business, on making relationships, and really profiting as in a most easy way. So what is branding to begin with? So branding is, we all have a brand already, which is the scary part, right? So most of us don't even know that we have a brand. The thing to ask yourself is the brand that you are portraying actually something that you have designed and that you are intentional with, right? So how do you think people know you now, right? Are you typically someone who is motivated, someone who can make relationships well, someone who people can come to as a resource? Or are you always late, not on time, scattered, disorganized, right? So how does your community see you? How do they view you? That inherently is your brand. The good part about that is you can make your brand whatever you truly desire it to be. So if you reach deep down inside yourself and you say, this is how I want to be known, this is how I want to show up in the world, you can design that exactly as you wish. And that's really the magic behind creating a brand, whether it be visual, online and through social media, whether it be live in your intention with people and in the world, or whether it be through what other people say of you. And Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, is quoted by saying, your brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. And I tend to agree with that. So if you're a person, regardless of what business you're in, who carries themselves with integrity, who has your own characteristics, whether it's being humorous, or serious, or vibrant, whatever it is your characteristics are, they're all good, and they all should be reflected in your brand. What most people in Isagenix and network marketing struggle with is how they can be different, how they can infuse their business with their own personal style and personal brand, which these three ladies that are on tonight have all done or in the process of doing. And it's a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. You're going to be much clearer at the end of this call, and it's going to take a little work. But if you focus on the right things, which is really what makes you tick, it becomes pretty easy to say, I've identified myself with something greater than just the products, than just what I sell, because you obviously have a lot more to offer the world. What you are because of your culture, your religion, your background, your experience, and your education is really the value behind the products that you sell. So what I'd like to do with that big introduction, I'm sure we have most people on right now. What I'd like to do is kind of go around the table, start with Kristen Max, and have everyone introduce themselves.
Okay, wonderful. Well, hello everyone, and so nice to get an opportunity to speak with you. I'm Kristen Max, the owner of AtHomeMoms.com. It's a community-based website, a place for moms to go to be able to stay at home with their children, work at home, and actually make money, and thrive at home. And so the site really, before I started working with Liz and thinking even about branding in general, my website was very basic and one-dimensional. It was very flat. I kept myself completely out of the spotlight, and after meeting with Liz, I began to realize just how important branding myself in my business was, so that it gave a face to the business and gave that personal connection. And so she worked with me every step of the way, and it was amazing. Just, as all of us are busy entrepreneurs and have busy lives, we have a lot of ideas going on in our head, right? I know you can all relate. And working with someone to kind of pick out your characteristics, help you identify your target market, additional streams of income potential for you, so that Isagenix, at least in my business, Isagenix is not my only stream of income. It's a portion of my business, and I love it with all my heart. I believe wholeheartedly in the products and in the compensation side. But if you go to thathomemoms.com website, you'll see that I do talk about other opportunities. There are advertisers on this site. I make money through affiliate marketing, through blogging, and coaching through that. So there are additional ways of sort of making your brand umbrella much wider, so that you're capturing a larger percentage of your target market and making income off of that from home.
All right, great. So how long have you been in Isagenix, Kristen?
I've been in Isagenix, it'll be 3 years in the fall.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, Jamie Lynn.
Thank you, Liz, for having me. This is really a fun opportunity. And, so the process of working with Liz started probably very late last year, and was introduced to her by a friend. And, I think what it meant for me, just to kind of start to brand myself, like Kristen said, like really we have a brand, right? But it's just a matter of solidifying it. And for me, it was about taking my journey from being an exhausted working mom in corporate America and transitioning into becoming a mompreneur, if you will. So I don't have a website that's up and running yet, but Liz is helping me through that process, and we're going to be live pretty soon. And for me, my business is all about helping people to tailor make their own life. And it really goes back to my my past and working in the fashion industry, and helping other people to create these perfect tailored clothing pieces for themselves. And kind of took a step back and realized, you know what? I want to tailor make my own life, and I want to be the one in control of it. And it really came at a great time. Isagenix came into my life at a perfect time when I was an exhausted mom of 3 little kids and could not fit into the skinny jeans anymore and was dependent on a cup of coffee. So the product completely changed my life. Was introduced to the compensation part of the company, shortly after that. I saw what was possible, and had a moment in my life less than 2 years ago, and I said, this is the path for me. I'm so passionate about helping other people and Isagenix, and this is what I'm meant to do. So that's kind of where I am today.
Excellent. And did you mention how long you've been with the company?
So I've been using Isagenix, the products, this July, it'll be 3 years. So I started using the products 3 years ago, and really, 1 year later, after using the products, I attended Celebration and saw, my goodness, this company is amazing. It's, the real deal. I felt the global impact that we were having. And it was at that moment that I said, I'm going to take advantage of this business opportunity that I have, that every single person has. I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to do it. So that's how I got started about 2 years ago, just really starting to look at the business opportunity.
And since you're fairly new to this, branding process, have you seen any differences? Have you felt any different? Do you have a different mindset? Any changes you've done so far?
I have. I think it's been a really interesting journey for me, because I think, like you said, we all have our own brand, whatever it is, whether it's, for me, it's a lot about being a mom, but it's also about, having a very strong and successful career and being able to make an impact on that level as well. And so I think what Liz has done for me is really helped me just to pull it all together and to eventually be able to help so many more people like me. I mean, I have an amazing team of people that I work with, and we're in the same process of helping them to kick their bosses to the curb and really be their own boss. But it's a process and it's a journey. So I'm learning a lot about myself. My mindset is really getting into check and realizing that we're just in the very beginning process, very beginning stages here.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Well, Connie Reed, tell us about your Isagenix story.
So my Isagenix story started about 17 months ago. I am a stay-at-home mom, and my husband is in school, and I was in school, and we have a special needs daughter with autism, and I just didn't feel good. So I called up my friend Trisha, who she had just barely started eating the products herself, and so I knew that I needed help, and so I called her up in the middle of the night and said, whatever you're doing, I need on it because I need to feel better. So that was 17 months ago, and both the products and the compensation plan have drastically changed our lives. So when I wanted to know more how I could brand myself, I'm not sure how I ended up in the Isagenix personal branding lab, but I'm glad that I landed there. And so I did a lot of reading up on the different articles and things, and I knew that Liz was heading it up. And so I messaged her and I said, hey, would you mind taking a look at my Facebook wall and tell me what you think? And so she's like, of course, that's fine. And so she took a look at it and she's like, yeah, it's nothing special. I was like, no, I'm the kind of person, I totally appreciate that honesty. I wanted to know. And so I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do? And so she and I got on a conference call, and we talked about what was important in my life, where I've come from, what's going on, about my family, and what I'm passionate about. And that's where she has helped me to create 2 different groups right now that I head up. One of them is Welcome to Orem. It's a group where newcomers to our community can get acquainted with each other and get to know a little bit more about the city. When I moved here just over a year ago, I didn't know anyone. It's really hard to get to know people in the specific area that I'm in. And so that's been a wonderful way to connect with people in my area. I'm really enjoying that. The other one is called, there's the Bliss in Autism, and it's a group with other special needs moms, but we can celebrate the differences and the special personalities of our special needs children. And so there's other groups that I'm involved in that have their event Tuesdays and things like that, where they're just very negative. So I wanted something very positive, and I'm having amazing success getting to know people in there. So I'm really excited to see where that takes me.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's really been fun working with these 3 ladies because they're coming from totally different backgrounds, and they have totally different ideas of where they want to take their own brand and how they want to approach their businesses. And that's really what branding is about. It's all about you. The product is actually secondary, if not tertiary. It's all about you, because what attracts people to you is your qualities, right? It's the magnetism you had back in high school. It's no different. What happens when we get into network marketing is we focus on the product, and that's what we push. But we forget that what makes people connect is the people, is the authenticity, really. So that's what branding takes you back to. It says, okay, well, yeah, everybody's product is the same. And if I wanted to find an Isagenix associate or leader, what have you, I can literally find one out of thousands, right? It's called, you've probably heard the term sponsor surfing, right? Or sponsor shopping. If I wanted to join Isagenix, I can just look for the hottest sponsor out there, right? So what makes you different? And it's really connecting with people. And I'm sure that throughout all of your lives, or even just the past couple years in Isagenix business, you've met people and come across people and said to yourself, wow, I really connected with that person. Wow, what they said really touched me. And they probably weren't there to sell you anything. So that's what I wish for all of you to be able to do to your prospects, to teammates. Really be authentic and bring your own brand of knowledge, skill, and expertise out to the market as well, right? So these ladies are using their own skills and expertise in their own areas and layering that on to their Isagenix business. The benefit of that is growing your warm market faster and more easily because you're having conversations on a multitude of topics, not just weight loss and energy management. They actually have multiple revenue streams that they can now market out. So if someone's not interested in Isagenix, they may be interested in other areas that these girls have expertise in. So now they become labeled as a mentor or a coach or a guide in these particular areas. So, and these areas can really be anything. If you're into style and fashion and makeup, if you're into sales training, if you're into triathlon, right? All of this can be used as a multiple revenue stream. So we're having a little bit of feedback. I hear a little bit of feedback. So if you girls wouldn't mind muting your mics, see if that helps our feedback problem. Okay, yeah, that took care of it. Whoever muted themselves, great. So then when you're gonna, obviously when you're gonna speak, just unmute yourself. So what I'd like to do is kind of start off with step one, right? So now we know what the benefits of branding are. You hear a lot about branding, I'm sure. How do you even start this thing? Number one, social media is obviously huge in this business, right? And it's obviously huge in the community at large. People don't know a thing about you, but they're already on your Facebook pages, your Twitter feeds, your Instagram to figure out who you are, if you're the real deal or if you're just a creep, right? So making sure that your social media footprint is exactly as you want it to be is homework number one tonight, right? So go back through your Facebook if that's your social media platform of choice. Take a look at all the photos that you have in there. Are they congruent to your current brand? Do they tell the current story, right? Do you have pictures that are kind of unrelated? Were you tagged in a bunch of pictures that people really have nothing to do with you? You might not even be in those pictures. Off-color jokes, political jokes, religious jokes, things that might be a little polarizing. Ask yourself, I'm not saying remove them, I'm saying ask yourself, is that what you want to portray, right? Those topics, although passionate to many of us, are polarizing. So if you've got a lot of Republican jokes on there, right, that could turn someone off. Because before you even get the opportunity to speak to them, before they even get the opportunity to get to know you, they've already passed judgment. Fact of life. I know we shouldn't be doing it. It's a fact of life. We've all done it. And the fact of the matter is, people are kicking the tires of your business. And that's natural and normal. I was giving an example earlier as we were waiting to start live about a warming lunchbox that I purchased last night on Amazon. It literally took me 2 weeks to buy once I got through, is it the right one, everybody's reviews, all that stuff. So it's completely normal for people to kick the tires. So making sure that your social media platforms are congruent with one another. The imagery is quality images, right? So if you go over to Kristen Mack's, her social media page, or At Home Moms on Facebook, Jamie Lee Curley, her Facebook page, we're working with Connie, but if you especially go to their pages, you can see that they invested the time and energy and money into hiring a proper photographer and capturing the brand that they were looking to portray, right? Even if they didn't have outside websites or outside businesses, they're ready for the next level in their business, right? They want to be seen as a resource, as a leader, not just a product salesperson. Now they're being seen as the CEO of Jamie Lynn Curley, of Kristen Max, of Connie Reese, right? They're no longer salespeople. They have so much more to offer, and they're now bringing that to market. So back to your social media platforms. Make sure that your images are clean, crisp, as professional as possible. If you can't invest in a photographer right now, you can go on to Groupon.com and find literally, I found one in Miami for $11. So you can probably find one anywhere from $11 to $30. I have many people that have used that option. You can go into their studio. They will go on location. And even if you bought 2 images, right, which would probably cost you under $50, use those images to begin branding yourself like a professional. You all have gone to social media pages where those images exist, and I'm sure that your mindset changes once you see them, right? So making sure that your Twitter, your LinkedIn, and your Google Plus pages all have profiles that are completed so that when someone Googles you, those pages come up with a complete description of what you do and what you offer. A great example of a LinkedIn profile is Jamie Lynn Curley's. So you can jump over to LinkedIn and search for her, and she has an excellent example where she describes what she offers people at this stage in her business. So go ahead and do that tonight as well. Making sure that you're posting things that aren't the same rhetorical weight loss, transformational Tuesday, all wellness Wednesday, all the stuff that everyone else is doing. If you're trying to attract business builders, why do you have feeds and feeds of pictures of fitness and abs and gym quotes and sweaty people, right? You're only going to attract people who enjoy fitness. If you're really trying to attract the entrepreneur and the business builder, I would recommend that you do posts that are relevant to an entrepreneur. How to be more productive, how to save time, what are your 10 habits early in the morning for success, right? Those are now attracting the people who have entrepreneurial spirit and that blood that you're looking for. So social media is huge in this. Does anybody have, any of you girls have any examples or thoughts on how that slight change has made a difference for any of you? Okay, so is that what you say?
Can you hear me, Liz?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I mean, I was just going to say, you know, that whole process for me of, you know, getting professional photos done. And
I think she's cutting out a little bit.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, the whole process of getting professional photos for the branding process was great because it really helped me to identify with who it is that I want to be able to connect with. So taking professional shots and photos of working and photos of my family, it really allowed us to broaden the scope of people that we wanted to be able to connect with.
Great. Yeah, you know, because people see things visually that they don't necessarily see when they're reading things. One of my clients, and one of my students for Be the Brand Academy, she actually won a scholarship just last month to the Academy. She has a really funny story. We met at a bloggers conference here in Fort Lauderdale, and she had been a blogger for 2 years. She's currently a blogger. And when I went to her website, her Facebook page, you would never know that. She had like some random picture, a pretty fuzzy, bad picture of her and her husband on the beach. They both had sunglasses on. It was completely unrelated. So I really wanted to show this girl the difference that branding could make for her blog because she didn't quite capture what the difference was. So for her, I created a brand new Facebook cover page for her. Her name is Lucy Valdez, if you want to check her out on Facebook. And she happened to be one of those that had a Groupon photographer, but she never really did anything with her images. She had a great image that I could use. And I created a brand new Facebook cover for her, and it described what she did, and it showed her off professionally. Her own mother called her after that picture went live and said, "What business are you involved in? What are you doing?" And she's like, Mom, I've been a blogger for 2 years. You know that. But nobody took her seriously, even her own mother, because visually there was nothing happening. There was no change happening, right? So when you go into business for yourself, which all of you are in business for yourselves, right? You're not just salespeople. You must go through the basic business building 101 steps that every business must go through. With building social media reputation, having a strategy to post, daily prospecting, a website. It doesn't happen overnight, I get it. But you must follow the basic business 101 steps in order to build a pipeline that leads to profit. So is this making sense? I hope so. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So what I'd like to talk about next are the prospecting steps that I particularly use in my business. I recommend them to everyone I work with. It's no secret because I think it's quite lucrative, and I definitely want to share it because it could mean the success of your business. I know with Isagenix, your warm market diminishes very quickly because your family and friends kind of know what you're doing. They either buy or don't. And you're kind of stuck. Like, where do you go from here? And that's where frustration builds. Many times, network marketers say, well, I'm not a salesperson. That's fine. Stop selling is what I have to say to you. The biggest path to success in any business, especially a sales-based business, is relationships. Right? So some of you may remember back in the day a book that was called Never Eat Alone, right? So that was the same premise. So there it was face-to-face meetings, but now we have the advent of social media. So what I recommend is creating a prospecting plan that you utilize every single day. For example, early in the morning, before 9 a.m., I open up my Facebook despite what the experts in time management say, and I make it a goal to reach out to 5 brand new people every single morning. Now, I'm only on Facebook for an hour or under until I get my 5 people. What I do is I do a search in my graph search up above for friends, people who are my friends, who live in my general area or within driving distance. It's the easiest pool to start with rather than starting with a bunch of strange people, right? So I'll do friends of mine who live in Key Largo, Florida. And up comes a long list. You may have a short list. Start with those. What you'll do is you'll reach out to those people who you do not know, right? So they're already friends of yours that may have connected because you live in the same area, but you really don't know who they are. And you private message them. And you say something like, excuse me, hi, Yvette. I've been following you for some time. I see your posts on my news feed, but I thought it was in order to properly introduce myself. I've lived in Key Largo for the past year, and of course you'll go on to their timeline and kind of check them out and see what they do and where they go, or if they have kids or pets or what have you, right? So in my particular example, I would say, you know, my favorite happy hour place is Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill, and I get my hair done over at the Vanity Room. Right? So they'll PM you back and they'll say, hey Liz, I happen to see you also in my news feed from time to time. This is where I live. I've been here for 2 months or 3 years or whatever, and I typically go along the vein of I always like making new friends, right? Because either people have been here a long time and they know everything about the city, or they're fairly new and can always use new friends, right? So I typically do that for 5 people every single day with the intention of getting those 5 people to a face-to-face meeting the following week. So if you're prospecting 25 people, even half that if you don't get them all in, right? Even if you did 10 people a week, you've got 10 face-to-face meetings the next week. So you can imagine how your pipeline for relationships, which is the important piece, begins to fill up very quickly. So you meet them for coffee, lunch, breakfast, happy hour, whatever works for you, right? The dog park, whatever works. and you begin a new friendship. They're not a customer yet, right? What you're prospecting for are friends. You're not prospecting for customers, right? Because through trust and through relationship is where the sales process is allowed. And this process could be frustrating for some people. I get it. Because a lot of you, unfortunately, think that if a sale isn't made on the first day, your time is wasted. But if you filled your pipeline with many new friends and ongoing conversations about things that matter, things about life, you'll be able to clearly see if your services and your products apply to them. Now, here's the thing. People like Kristen, Jamie Lynn, Connie, multiple others, but I'll stick with these 3 examples. They obviously have much more to offer than just Isagenix because they've created a business model that works for all of their skills and talents, right? And it doesn't have to be like you're a dentist, right? So Connie came up with the idea of, I want to be the person that connects new citizens, new residents to my area to people who are already here. That doesn't take rocket science. All it took was, I enjoy connecting people. I enjoy making people feel welcomed. So great, that's exactly what she did. She became the welcome committee of 1 in her city, right? So now, what does her warm market look like? She's got everybody coming in new to the city. She's the first person really to know about them. She's got all the existing business owners who, of course, want the eyeballs of the new people, right? The dentists, the massage people, salons. They know that Connie's Facebook group is where all those new people are going to be hanging out. So Connie is right in the middle of 2 wonderfully fruitful markets. Businesses in the area that want to be seen, and newcomers in the area that want something to do, want new friends, and want to know where to go. So these 3 ladies can offer so much more and build their revenue in so many more ways than just Isagenix, because they've created a true business model around their passions and skills, where Isagenix is just one of many of the tools they offer. So going back to the face-to-face conversation, these ladies, if they say, wow, this person really isn't cut out for Isagenix, maybe they're on a career track to be CEO and they really don't have time, or they're in great shape, or what have you, that person doesn't want to be involved in Isagenix, great. They've got other resources that they can insert into the conversation. And this is what I'm asking you to do. Study what it is you have to offer. This doesn't mean that you have to have a degree in something. It doesn't mean you have to have a license or a certificate as a personal trainer or a financial advisor. Your experience and your story, whatever that story is, makes you the expert, right? So if you've survived suicide, if you have survived bankruptcy, foreclosure, and by the way, your message is typically found in your mess. So if you go back into your darkest hour, that's typically where your story dives or comes out of. And your skills and what you can relate to best usually comes from that story. Whether you're a mom of 3 or you've tried to have children and can't, multiple things that come from your own story are typically what you can offer other people, right? So now that you've filled your pipeline, or you continue to fill your pipeline with brand new relationships, moving forward, now you've got a warm market that's endless in that one tiny little practice every morning. This doesn't mean that you have to go to networking meetings. I haven't been to a networking meeting in more than 5 years, and I have a thriving business, because it's all about relationships, and people are making tons of relationships and tons of money, by the way, off of social media. So any questions so far?
I think, Liz, I wanted to touch on a very important topic that I think came to me in my business, and also through working with you and expanding the offerings, but also just for everyone listening in tonight to realize the importance of developing what's commonly, I think, perceived as a sales funnel, but really an email marketing system for capturing leads and just people within your market that you've made connections with. I know I have several just through the athomemoms.com site, and then they go into various groups so that I can target market through a direct email campaign or broadcast to those people who have expressed an interest in health or working from home, or, you know, I have a few different ones, but could you touch on that for more of the people listening in?
So specifically what email marketing is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure. So, you know, one of the biggest detriments with the way that we market in network marketing is there is no real way to capture the people who are following you, liking you, who are just watching from the periphery, right? There's no real way. So, yeah, there's paper and pen, which is clearly antiquated, but that's really how probably most of you are working. You know, you may have someone who has said something on one of your posts on social media. Okay, you write them down. You may not ever hear from that person for another year. You may forget about them. They may not reach out and contact you. So email marketing is the bloodline of an online business. It really is the bloodline of any business, by the way. But we're talking about being remote and duplicatable and online for this particular example. So if you had, number one, a website, but even if you didn't have a website, if you had a way on your fan page for individuals to subscribe to your quote-unquote newsletter, right, you would be able to hold on to all these emails for people who have interest but are not ready to purchase yet. So an example, again, is if you go to Jamie Lynn Curley's fan page, which is called Jamie Lynn Curley, The Tailor-Made Life. So make a note to go there later. On her cover image, there's going to be a call to action button that says sign up. Although Jamie Lynn does not have a website yet like athomemoms.com, both of those, the website and Jamie Lynn's Facebook page, have options for you to sign up to their newsletter or to their freebie or whatever it is that they're offering. What this allows these girls to do is to save the tire kickers, right? So they may come in today and like their little freebie or just be shopping around, but what these girls are going to be able to do is consistently email this list now of subscribers. Many of you probably received emails from me, right? On a weekly basis, semi-monthly basis, and continue the dialogue and relationship building online. It establishes trust. It shows you what it's like to work with these ladies. So if you were sponsor shopping, right, and you got a ton of emails from Kristen Max once every week, and she was talking about motivation and how to grow your income and how to have hard conversations or whatever the case is, you would really feel more connected to that person than probably the lady that you saw at Walmart trying to get you to sign up as a recruit, right? So having some way to capture the email addresses, and both of these two ladies use two different products. AWeber is an email marketing system, and Jamie Lynn uses MailChimp.com, like chimpanzee, but it's MailChimp.com. And both of them are able to capture email addresses so that they can grow their market, continue a valuable dialogue with these people, get to understand what their needs are, trust, and a long-term sales process. So Kristen mentioned a funnel. Some of you have heard that term, and a lot of you have asked me about it. A funnel is simply the process. So if you imagine a funnel like this, right, all of your customers come in here. The smaller that funnel gets down here is where your higher priced ticket items go. So all of your customers or prospective customers come in at the top of the funnel by subscribing to your list. That means there's hundreds or thousands of these people. And they slowly whittle themselves down to people who want to engage with you, either to be a recruit, to be a product user, or to purchase your coaching systems or mentoring systems like these ladies offer themselves. So right now, most of you, I guarantee, do not have a database of emails of former customers, prospective customers, and tire kickers. So how do you continue the dialogue with these people? You're hoping and praying that they see that post, that random post that you send out in the middle of the afternoon. That's not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy, right? So as you can see, building a brand, well, more so building a business model takes time. It takes effort. It takes momentum, right? Right now, the strategy for most of us is hope. We just throw posts out there on Facebook. What business in the world has that strategy, right? So I am urging you to stand back for a moment, pause for a moment, and say, what is the business that I'm trying to build here? Who is the CEO of this business, right? Right now, there's probably no CEO because there's only the salesperson, right, which is you. Do you get into that CEO role? Do you know what it is you can offer? And by the way, the brand formula is actually very simple. The brand, or the formula to create a brand, is your skills and expertise plus any education that you may have, also licensing and certification, plus or times your passion, what you're passionate about, equals your brand. So let me break it down in real world terms. Let's say, for example, Kristen Max's education was in exercise physiology. Now, clearly, there's a direct link there, right, between what she studied, her passion is fitness and teaching, and then now one of her many products is Isagenix. Now, that's an easy one. Let's take Jamie Lynn Curley, where her skills and expertise, similar to my own, were in fashion merchandising, fashion marketing, for better words, okay? How in the world do you think we were going to connect fashion to Isagenix? So with her, we had to really dive deep into what her passion was first, because the link was not clear. And her passion clearly was motivating, leadership. She had 11 years of dealing with customers who had very specific high-end needs in tailored-made clothing, so specific customized clothing, right? So she could speak to that. So then we worked backwards from her passion, and we wanted to tie in the fashion and style, which was still a very live part of who Jamie was. And we created the Tailor-Made Life, which fit into her background and her expertise in fashion and merchandising and tailor-made clothes, her passion in building a life that suits you no matter what it is your needs are, right? And that also pulled in her passion for Isagenix, in creating your best self, in freeing yourself economically and your time freedom. So it all rolled in quite nicely. So the formula, again, is your skills and expertise, whatever they may be. The most important pieces of that is that you're passionate. If your expertise is accounting and you can't stand accounting, don't make that your brand. Don't advise people on accounting. Don't even bring up that you're an accountant. Because if you're not passionate about it and you don't want to do it every single day, people are going to feel it. They're going to notice it. So don't make that part of your brand. So let's recap here, and then we'll go into some questions. The first part is taking a look at your social media footprint. Most of you are probably only on Facebook. Clean up your Instagram, create a Twitter account, LinkedIn account, and Google Plus account. I'm not saying here that you have to be active on all of them. All I'm saying is that your profiles should be complete and you should have images on your cover image. So this is when someone Googles you, those profiles come up and not some random stuff. Try Googling yourself tonight and seeing what comes up. Are you happy with what comes up? You can change that, by the way. Is it visually appealing? Is the imagery that you have on your cover page what you're looking for? Trying to find the story that makes you relatable is the other piece. And again, you're going to have to dive deep into your darkest hour to really find out what that story and that message is, right? Bankruptcy, divorce, health issues, whatever that darkness is, your light story is going to come out of that. And then lastly, determining what skills you have to offer others. We talked a little bit about daily prospecting and filling your pipeline, because in the end, brand or not, if you don't have a functioning sales cycle, so when we think about a business and you're the CEO, if you don't have a sales system, you're not going anywhere, right? So social media selling is actually quite lucrative. Another awesome way to prospect within social media is LinkedIn and Twitter. Twitter is fun because you can kind of be a fly on the wall as people discuss their issues. So you can try this if you have a Twitter account. In the search field in Twitter, you'll put in terms that you're looking for. So let's say, for example, the terms are feeling fat, losing weight, feeling bloated, right? So imagine to yourself how people would be referring to their weight loss issues in a common conversation on Twitter. And you can try anything that you might be interested in. If you are also a wedding photographer, you can search got engaged or getting married or whatever, right? And every conversation, every post, every tweet that was ever put up with those terms in it will show up. I have a client who is a realtor and who was really struggling with branding and gaining clients. She was much older, so she was getting beat out by the more savvy, quicker whippersnappers, right? So we got her heavily involved in Twitter. So anytime part of her daily prospecting plan was searching for conversations of looking for an apartment, moving out, my new house, those kinds of things. So she could easily target people who were on the market. And she began to create relationships and get herself known through a medium that she would never have imagined she was going to master. So LinkedIn is another example of that. We all know that success in Isagenix is recruiting business builders. Business people live on LinkedIn. They want to be seen, they want to be recognized, and they want to be found on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, they're not finding you, number one. If you do have a LinkedIn profile and it talks about the fact that you are an accountant or a banker at Bank of America and all this incongruent stuff that nobody cares about, then you're missing the boat. So get your LinkedIn profile the way that you want it to be seen today. Then create a group that is relevant for business individuals, just like you would do in Facebook. So maybe it's going for a promotion. Maybe it's just freshly laid off, right? So those are two ideas for some groups within LinkedIn that you can begin. And you invite people to this group. Through LinkedIn, you get to see if they do not have a job, if they do have a job, what their history is. Are they executive level? Were they labor level? Who are you trying to attract? Invite those people. If you say to yourself, man, if I could just get a list of all the CEOs in my area, you've got it right in front of you. You've got it right there on LinkedIn. Tonight, you could find out every CEO that's out there in your area. Any questions so far on all of that?
So I have a question.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, Connie.
Oh, thanks, hon. So as far as I had a thought of when we are protecting our Facebook pages, you know, our family just got a new dog. So my husband, as much as I love him, he's loving posting things about dogs and treats and this and that the dog needs or whatever he wants, and tagging me in it. And so I love the option on Facebook to monitor what is put onto my Facebook wall. Now, a lot of people are just unaware that that's an option, but I do appreciate that, and I use that often on my Facebook wall. And another thing that I do for myself, since I have been more mindful of my own personal brand, is when I have things that I want to share, I'm very particular about it. And so on there, you have the option of making a post public, or for just for your friends, or just for acquaintances, different things like that. So you can put your friends and your family into different groups. And so, or a post that only I can see. And so when I say I have a post about that I wanted to share about to go into one of my groups. So it's something about my area, or excuse me, about special needs or autism. Then I share that that article with only myself and save it for later, so that it doesn't go onto my news feed, but that way I can still access it for later.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, another little nifty tool to use for saving things for later is Evernote. It's free, and it's kind of a virtual whiteboard. I use it for everything. I use it for all my clients, because as you're surfing around, you may see some really great stuff that's relevant for your news feed, but it's, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to post it, and tomorrow morning you're going to forget. So you can download Evernote, and it's synced with your tablet, your cell phone, your computer. So wherever you find good stuff, you can just swipe it in under there, and it's there. Even it allows you to have folders. So let's say if you were a wedding photographer and you did Isagenix, you can have those 2 folders and swipe stuff in there for later. You can swipe emails, you can swipe images, all kinds of things. So it's just like a whiteboard, really, of all kinds of stuff. And yes, you know, people will also use your own Facebook page, to promote themselves, which is kind of weird and tacky, and it really bothers the hell out of me. But if they see that you have a ton of followers, they will tag you in, say, a video that they're talking about a product or whatever, so that your viewers can see it. I mean, if that's not the most tackiest tactic I've ever seen, I don't know what is. And people do a lot of creepy stuff on Facebook, and those people are going to weed themselves out, because if you're spamming your stuff in groups and you're saying, hey, buy my shake, or here's this transformation thing, or you're stealing transformation pictures from the web, I mean, all of that is just rock bottom, creepy. By the way, that is your brand, right? Even the nasty stuff is part of your brand. So, yeah, I mean, be genuine. If you've got stuff that, you know, doesn't apply to your brand, it's okay to say, untag me, right? And, you know, I do it all the time, because I want even my personal page to reflect what I love and what I live. So we have a couple questions here. So Susie says, what I'm hearing is to take part of us and run with it. I'm not sure what that means. For example, oh, I see. What I'm hearing is to take part of us and run with it. I'm a recovering alcoholic, so maybe go with that. Absolutely correct, Susie. So whatever it is that's part of your mess, if you are still passionate about it, right? Again, that's huge. I'm not saying grab something just because it's there and be like, I don't want to talk about this garbage every day of my life. So girls, can you mute yourself, because we're getting that feedback again. What I'm saying is now create a Facebook group for that particular clientele, recovering alcoholics, maybe recovering female alcoholics, okay? And it could be in your area, right? Start small because of the whole anonymity behind it. It could be in your state, right? The smaller you start, the better off you are. I say this over and over again. It's the difference between reaching your hand in the ocean and trying to pick up a fish, or reaching your hand in a bucket of 100 fish. Odds are you're going to grab a couple fish, right? So the smaller you go, the better off you're going to be. Especially in your topic, Susie. If you start local, you can now begin your own meetup groups that happen off of Facebook and really take those relationships to a whole new level. What I want you to do in this particular example, whether you decide to go this route or not, these are the steps that I want you to take to explore if this is the right thing for you. Do you have enough experience? Did you have enough success in your recovery to be able to teach that process to someone else? Because there are professionals, individuals who are willing to pay for a mentor or a guide to help them through that process, right? And if it's not for them, it might be for an adult child or a teen child or a spouse. So this is what I referred to earlier, that these ladies on tonight have multiple things to offer in their relationships with prospective clients. So for you, you can offer your expertise in recovery to help women who truly need that of you. In the process of healing, of treatment, of understanding who they are, they're going through a transformation. Clearly, that's much deeper than just weight loss and energy performance. But through that transformation, they may at one point get there, right? So they may say, great, I feel better, I don't feel dependent anymore, I want to get my best body back, I want to regain my presentation in the world, how I show up. Now you have the Isagenix conversation. So there you would have two revenue streams, you as a guide or mentor for the recovering addict, and your Isagenix revenue stream. So in your case, I would create a Facebook group, not a fan page, and target recovering females in your area. And call it something attractive, something positive, just like Connie did. Don't make it doom and gloom, right? Be different. That way, every single day, you begin to engage with these women at the place that they're at. You're not selling to them. You're sharing your expertise and your story in recovery and creating relationships and trust that may lead to more. Make sense? Okay, so let's go on. What about current friends? I'm not sure, Susie, what you mean by that, so if you want to re-ask that. Nicole Melito. Hi, Nicole. I hope you're still with us. Is it better to have a Facebook page separate from your own? You can brand it to your services. Okay, so me and Facebook pages have a love-hate relationship. In my mind, a Facebook fan page, which is your business page, is a must-have, right? Even mine is not that active. You cannot do Facebook advertising without a Facebook fan page. It also tells your prospective customer that you are in business, because when they search Kristen Max, two pages will come up. One will be her personal timeline, one will be her business page. So even if you looked for my name, you'll see one on top of the other, my personal and my business. So it, number one, tells the client, tells the prospect, I'm in business. It's official, right? But where the magic really happens is in Facebook groups, because people can like your fan page and then you never see them again, they never come back, who cares? In your Facebook group, it's now a community. Think of it as if it were a live event, an auditorium, so to speak. People come to the event, they know what they're there to hear, they come to engage and meet others and hear from you, right? And you have the opportunity to control the message, to put files in there, all kinds of different things. They've made a conscious choice to be part of your group. I recommend that your timeline not be private, because branding is all about who you are. None of us here is Pepsi Cola, none of us here is Dell Computers, right? We are who we are. I'm just Liz Smoke. And when you buy from me and when you deal with me and work with me, it's just me, right? So I want you to know about my life, and I want you to know that my brand is transparent, and what I'm saying to you as a professional is congruent with my personal life. That's my own personal opinion. Everybody else, has their own. I just recommend you be private, because going back to my tire kicker situation, if someone looks you up because they want to purchase from you or they want to work with you, And they have to either add you as a friend, which now removes the anonymity, or they can't see anything. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to search for the next person on their list, right? But if they don't have to be your friend and can still see your
I think we lost Liz. Hopefully she'll be able to pop back up in another minute. Hopefully everybody out there is still enjoying the call. She's just getting into the juicy stuff, I think.
So I know a little bit about the differences between a Facebook page and a Facebook group. Like Liz was saying, within my own group, I have a lot of people that interact. When I post an article in there that relates to our group or relates to their interests, then we have a conversation. I start talking, and they post their comments, and then we go back and forth, and we get to know each other on that level. Does that make sense? And so it's really about making that connection within the group, where the Facebook page Facebook fan page is more for like a celebrity or a politician, and Facebook regulates those pretty hardcore. And so if you post something, about Justin Bieber or something, a fan page, then that's probably going to be shut down because it was not set up by by one of the representatives.
Hi, everyone. Can you see me again? Okay.
Welcome back, Liz.
Okay. All right. So I forgot where I was, but I'm going to continue on with questions. So Facebook group over Facebook fan page. So let me just go over Nicole's question again, make sure that I got it. Is it better to have a Facebook page separate from your own? It's the Facebook group that you're after. Okay. How should we make a LinkedIn account to promote Isagenix? I'm only a consultant and was told to wait till I'm executive. Susie, do not wait. Do not listen to anybody who's telling you you have to be a certain level in order for you to create a profile or a brand. Forget that. You are who you are. You are not just a consultant, just like you are not just an executive, right? You are who you are, and you have a lot to offer aside for your Isagenix business. So on your LinkedIn profile, you go ahead and be you and in charge and create a profile description that really is congruent with who you are. So if you girls can mute yourselves once again, that would be helpful. Connie, I think we're getting some feedback from you. Okay, perfect. So yeah, you don't have to be at a certain level. You're a success right now. You were a success before Isagenix. So please go out and brand yourself and wave your free flag, like I say, and begin your story, right? Isagenix is one toolbox one tool in your toolbox that you offer. Okay. Michael says, while branding yourself, what obstacles have you come across that we may run into, and how did you overcome them while building? Okay, Michael. So in the process of branding yourself, and I'm talking about going down the brand journey, which is what these girls are doing, not necessarily just, hey, changing my picture and this is my brand, right? I mean, really going down and saying, these are my offerings, these are my ideal clients, etc. The obstacles, I would say, is in the DIY process. Like if you are doing it yourself and you're not hiring a coach or going to an online school or what have you, it's going to take you a little longer than most people because you have to learn the technology, you have to learn all of these things that I'm talking about tonight, and that takes time. But stumbling blocks, I would say, is when people think that their brand is their product. They think that their brand is Isagenix, for example, when Isagenix is a company all on its own. It's a brand all on its own, and they're doing just fine. And it's when they decide to brand the product or that process and forget to brand what they bring to the table. So, Michael, ask yourself, why is it different for me to purchase and sign on to your team rather than someone else's? The difference is Michael, but why? Right? So the stumbling block there is to say, well, you know, I sell Isagenix and that's my brand. That's definitely not your brand. So that would be the biggest stumbling block. And then, of course, going about it without any mentorship. So not having someone to say, okay, do this next. And like these girls are going through, excuse me, and maybe they can speak to what it was like doing it on your own and then having someone kind of go down this journey with them.
Liz, I can totally attest to that. You know, when I first started working with Liz, I was all over the place. I was kind of like a hot mess, you know, and I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the message I wanted to really portray, that it was not coming together because it was, I didn't know what to do. And, you know, Liz has really guided me in the right direction as far as pulling my brand together and solidifying it and pointing me in the right direction, forcing me to step out of my comfort zone all the time. I love you for that, Liz. You know I do. But I've had that mentorship and guidance along the way, because it's almost like a checking point. Is this right? Am I on the right track? Am I saying the right thing? And it's a journey. You know, it's a process. Just as all of us learn Isagenix and, you know, how to talk about it and how to be confident in that respect. How to talk about your brand and how to build your brand is a journey as well.
Yeah. So, Jamie, we can't actually see you. We can hear you perfectly fine. So I don't know if the camera cut out, but we can hear you clearly. You might want to just check your camera. Okay. So let's see. Joe, thank you for letting me know I was gone, and now I'm back. Thank you, Joe. So Melissa says to us, so my daughter was born with congenital heart defects. I already have a group for heart moms, but it's not local. Would I be better off just making it more local? And this is a huge part of my life. Would this be considered my brand? I guess I'm having trouble recognizing my brand. Absolutely, it is your brand. If this is your passion, if you have a message to share with other mothers going through this issue, this is your brand. Now, it doesn't mean to say that this is your only passion, but just based on the little that I know right now, absolutely this could be your message to the world. Absolutely, you can grow your warm market by doing exactly what you're doing with creating a group for these mothers. I wouldn't necessarily say you must have one local, but maybe you do bring in more local individuals and have meetup groups that are live in, with mothers that are experiencing the same thing. So that's another idea. So Jamie, also mute yourself as well. It looks like she already has. So going local, maybe live meetups, and then inviting more local individuals into the same group. Do not create two groups, because now you're going to have to manage two, and now you've got two communities, and it's going to go a little nuts. You should always try and have everyone in one group when building this kind of brand. I'm not referring to Isagenix groups, because I know it's very common practice to have business builders and product users separate, which is fine. Okay? So you're on the right track. I'd love to hear more about that group and see how you work there. Susie says, how do I promote that page? I'm assuming that you're asking about the recovery page. So what you would do, Susie, this is a great question and one that I'm glad we're covering. What you would do is you would hang out in other groups that attract and apply to those particular individuals in recovery, okay? And you would engage from an authentic place with those groups and with the people in that group. You can then say, as you begin to offer information and content and your own, wisdom, you can then invite individuals that meet your criteria. So if it's just for women, or if it's just a certain age group, or if it's local, you can invite those individuals into your group as well, right? So it's no different than the multitude of Isagenix groups that we have. And that is how you begin to build your group. And of course, as you go out into meetings or meet with other people, you can invite them to that group as well. You can also, depending again on how public you want to be, you can also create a graphic so that you can share within your own timeline or wherever it is that you feel necessary to invite people over to that group. But you'll want to hang out in areas where other recovering addicts are. Figure out who fits with your ideal clientele and get them over to your group. Okay? Okay. Do you have a posting strategy for Facebook, such as 3 times a day? And how do you manage all the social sites that you have accounts with? This is Val Heisey. Hi, Val. It's been a while since I've heard from you. Okay. So I don't personally have a strategy. The common idea is 4 to 1. So it should be 4 value-based content posts. So things about life in general, or authentic posts, to 1 business post or 1 promotional post. So, but I don't personally have a strategy. In fact, many of you who follow me might notice that I disappear for a while, and then I come back with a vengeance, and then I disappear for a while. And all that means is I'm typically working with a client very closely, or working on a program very closely, or a launch. And obviously my time, goes elsewhere. The way that I manage all of my social media accounts, which I have a multitude, not only of mine, but I also do social media management for many of my clients, is I use Hootsuite. There's also Post Planner, Meet Edgar. There are multitudes, but those are the top ones. Hootsuite is free. It's not intuitive. It's a little difficult to understand, but once you understand it, it's golden. And what I like to do is on an evening where I'm either by myself or my family's watching a movie that I'm not too interested in, I kind of stay on the couch with my laptop and I plan out my posts for the entire month. So it's really easy for me to do kind of in one sitting where all I can think about is social media. And Hootsuite actually has an app within the app that gives you suggestions on the particular topic that you're looking for. So for me, of course, personal branding is one of my search queries. And then I just slide over any articles or any images or quotes that have to do with that. So many of the posts that you see in the Isagenix Personal Branding Lab are pushed through Hootsuite. So there's an incredible value to doing all of your planning and social media in that way. Okay. How do you promote a group, especially if it's private? So yes, Susie, going back to that question, I'm all about having a group with a concentrated client list, meaning that it's not open to everybody in the world. It's only open to who you feel is an ideal client for you. Right? So you go fishing for those clients in other groups, on your own timeline, in private messages. And I mentioned already, you have to engage with these individuals in other groups from an authentic space. Adding your own value, inviting them over, friending them, etc. So that's how you would promote that. Any questions so far? I'm going to refresh these questions. Any other questions? Okay, so what I'd like to, it's about 20 after 10 right now. I don't want to keep you much longer, and my voice is soon failing if you haven't noticed. What I'd like to cover now is how you can really do this if it's not on your own. So, I mentioned the DIY process, but some of you might already be enrolled in Be the Brand Academy. I want to see if here I can share my slides here for a quick moment. Let's see if I can do that. And so one of my girls will unmute themselves and they'll tell me if they can see me. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you see my PowerPoint slides?
Yep, they're up.
We can, Liz, yeah.
Excellent, great. Okay, so what I want to do is kind of introduce you to a branding roadmap. And I alluded to a course or a launch earlier, and this is that course. Be the Brand Academy is my 8-week branding course, and it really dives way deep into what we talked about tonight, and it's not theoretical. It actually shows you how to do all of the things that all of us talked about tonight. So it's a complete 8-week course, and it's delivered to your inbox via video. There are 8 live Q&A calls with me, and that equals about 16 hours of coaching, group coaching live with me over the phone. You have a private members-only area and a student lounge. And what that means is all of the students from prior classes and all of the students for the ongoing classes are in one private group where they get to share what their brands are, what they're working on, how they're working on it. So everyone kind of supports one another through this process. The Academy has over 20 how-to implementation videos on how to create Facebook cover pages, how to create a funnel, how to create your website. All of that is in there step by step, right? How to even create your own personal logo, etc. There are tons of done-for-you templates that walk you through how to even get to what your story is, what your brand is. That formula that I talked about earlier, we dive pretty deep into how to create that for yourself. There are resource sheets, which are my favorite because that's where I kind of tell everybody all of the technical apps that I use, all of the resources that I use in my business and my online business. I list them all out. There are multiple pages. I actually give you a list of 101 coaching ideas. If you wanted to take your coaching or your mentorship practice to the next level, I actually give you a list of 101 ideas of where you can be a coach and a mentor. And another great part is that it also allows you lifetime access to all of the updates and all of the new releases forever. So for example, my last class, the alumni from the last class, will now have access for free for the new release with the new students. So as their business and their brand grows and evolve, they can continue to take the course and all of its updates and say, okay, now this part really applies to me. So the 4 boxes or the 8 boxes that you see below are the actual modules that you get each week, where we begin with your unique value proposition. We start with that formula of education plus skills plus passion. And it is multiple videos where I walk you through how to create your own unique value proposition that's different from everyone else. Week 2, we talk about your position in the market and how to create a niche that's all yours and how to build that niche. So like we talked about with Susie with recovery or with the congenital heart defects, those would be ideas of how we select a niche and we really show you how to create it, how to grow that particular market, and how to make those people into customers. Week 3, we talk about your ideal target audience, where we identify ideal clients that are already predisposed to buy from you. What that means is, like we talked about in Susie's example, where she would surround herself with individuals who will already trust her because of her story, because of her relevance in her customer's story. So that is what I mean by them being predisposed, because the trust factor is already built there simply because they share the same experience. Week 4, we talk about your offering. This is where the money comes in. we talk about what products and services and resources you already have at your disposal because of your own experience, and how we price them and how we deliver them to the market. This is a tough exercise that a lot of people can't do without help, because it's really difficult to say, well, I coach Isagenix team, all the time for free. What is it that I can charge for? So it's a really great exercise to really begin the business model of multiplying your revenue streams. In week 5, we talk about your brand toolbox, which means all of the assets that are part of your company. Your domain name, what you would copyright. So for example, the Tailor-Made Life that Jamie Lynn Curley's business is would be a copyrightable tagline or name. So this now becomes an asset for her company. We go deep into video and marketing collateral. Your visual brand is now creating what I talk about, your online visual identity. I give you my 20-page photo shoot, branding photo shoot handbook that tells you what to wear, how to negotiate with a photographer, everything you need to know to build that visual brand like you see in Jamie Lynn's example and Kristen Max's At-Home Moms example. Week 7 is actually my favorite week, and that's how to create raving fans. It's my favorite because I think I do it well. Many of you are probably part of my Goal Getters 7-day challenge, where we brought a whole bunch of strangers together in the middle of a Facebook group, and we went through 7 days of goal challenges. I show you not only how to create the same challenges, but also how to create a list, an email list, how to build that list quickly over time so that you can continue to market to your audience, and how to target loyal, eager buyers and not so much of the tire kickers. And then in our last week, we scale and duplicate. So I really go into how to create a business model that is online, 100% online, and that continues to sell itself in perpetuity. So as you create offerings, as you create digital products, you only have to do it once so that it continues to sell itself in perpetuity. Many of you have taken my social media graphics class. That was created once over 90 minutes, and it continues to sell for me every single day. So that's one tiny little piece of my knowledge, is how to make social media graphics that many people want to know about. It's a $47 class, and it's daily income across social media is the only place that I promote that, and I rarely promote it. But it's showing you those types of things that are already at your disposal that you can make into recurring passive income. So Module 1, which is what we just covered, is how to determine what makes you unique, rolling all your passions into one business. Are you communicating the tangible value of working with you, your service, and your products, and changing your mindset from salesperson to CEO? Module 2 establishes a unique voice for who you are. We talk about how the rich is in the niche, learning how to create a big fish, small pond business that we talked about earlier, and how to find your starting point by assessing the strength of your current brand and your current communications. The third week is how to communicate clearly and directly. Are you communicating in a way that even resonates and it's relevant with your audience, which is probably what you're struggling with right now? Where to find hordes of your ideal client, and how to speak the language that attracts those clients like a magnet. Module 4, creating high-dollar services to support your current Isagenix products, uncovering the knowledge that you already have that people will pay for. Develop your business model and define where your profits will come from. And of course, I say it all the time, how to change your mindset from salesperson to CEO. Module 5 is where we talk about turning your website into a 24-hour sales force, which Kristen Max is probably a good one to attest to that. Creating a unique tagline that grabs your customers, right? That's how you can set yourself apart. how to deliver content that will have them hanging on to your every word. I'm sure many of you have seen internet marketers do this very well, that you're just captivated by everything that they publish. The ultimate checklist of everything you must have to launch the brand of your dreams is going to be inside Module 5. We talk about the look, feel, colors, and personality of your brand in Module 6. We learn how to create a voice for your brand, which I'm sure your social media timeline is missing right now, which is that voice. How to create show-stopping visuals that sell, and why showing off your personality is the real secret to success, and how to do it right. Module 7, how to create your own community of raving fans. We go big time into email newsletter marketing. That's what Kristen Max alluded to earlier. We stage your big brand launch that puts you on the map. So it's a big coming out party for your brand, and I show you exactly how to do that to maximize all the eyeballs. Keeping your prospect pipeline overflowing, and I gave you a snapshot of my process in that. And in the final week, how to deliver webinars and add mega value to your community and money to your bank account. How to automate that does all the selling and the hard work for you. Learn the way your company keeps growing without extra effort, and ditching the one-on-one, which is what we're all doing now, right, for the one-on-many. So as you can see, they're jam-packed, and I've added actually even more stuff that's not in this presentation on storytelling, how to execute challenges, how to do launches, and a few other surprises as well. So, are you ready? What you get here, just as a reminder, is 8 business building modules that show you how to build a profitable brand and community that loves you. Multiple done-for-you templates for posting, opt-ins, your own bio, and a whole bunch more. You receive access to the ultimate group of collaborators and experts to help you gain traction fast. You get a bunch of bonus modules at the end of the course that actually my colleagues who are experts in publicity, crowdfunding, productivity, and efficiency from IBM, they all have offered videos that are part of the course. You get those at the end of the course. And 24/7 lifetime access to the entire course. So, how much will this cost me? I know is what you're already asking yourself. You've already spent tons of time trying to figure out how to do it on your own, and tons of time wishing someone would just tell you what to do and how to do it. And so the girls that are on tonight kind of had that as well. Like, Liz, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But your time is money, and your mistakes, like I was mentioning to Michael earlier, are going to cost you. That's the route that I started with. I'm pretty technical, and I felt I could do everything myself, and I, of course, had missteps and mistakes that definitely cost me time and cost me money. So I want you to ask yourself, what have been the consequences to this point of your inactivity? What opportunities will you miss out on if you don't grow your business and your brand? So as you think about wanting to align yourself with influencers in the media, in your market, why aren't you there yet? Why aren't you seen as the real deal, as an up-and-comer, right? Where will you fall short of your 2015 goals? We're already past the halfway mark of this year. Where will you fall short if you don't take this next step in your business? And most importantly, what are the skills that you need to acquire to even get to those goals that you didn't reach last year? Have you acquired those skills to get yourself past where you ended last year? The bonuses that we talked about are social media prospecting, business systems and taxes, how to become an expert in the media, and a VIP look into a trust before transaction webinar workshop. There are plenty more that I add on to this particular launch this year. So this is what you will get by joining Be the Brand Academy. The getting clarity on your brand once and for all, because I know that this has been a struggle for so many of you. Attracting more customers. We talked about one tiny way of doing that. There are tons more. Expanding your market globally. So outside of just the US, there are tons of markets and tons of ways to reach those markets completely online that you don't even know about yet. And of course, being the go-to resource for your industry, your community, and the media at large once you know how to tell a story that they care about. And of course, increasing your subscribers and your income, which is the important part. So here's the investment. Your total investment is $1,497 if you decide to pay it up front. I want to make this accessible to absolutely everyone who needs it and who's ready to grow their business to the next level. So I'm offering a payment plan of $129 per month for 12 months, and that allows you lifetime access to Be the Brand Academy. It never expires. If you have something coming up in your life that you think you're going to go on vacation or something like that is happening, it doesn't matter. You still have access to all the videos, and you can watch them over and over and over again as long as you need to. Okay. So just to recap, 8 weeks plus bonuses, lifetime access, 16 hours of coaching with me, all your templates, a library of how-to videos, private student lounge of your peers, and brand instructors. I'm going to show you where you can go at this point to sign up. So you can go to my website, which is lizsmoke.com. And the cart closes on Friday for Isagenix folks. So for the public at large, it closed on Monday. I'm expanding it just for this webinar of Isagenix individuals. I'm expanding it to Friday. So if you go over to work with me, Be the Brand Academy, you'll come to the page where it talks about everything that we just talked about right here. It shows you everything you get. It talks a little bit more in depth. Course begins June 29th. You've got some testimonials. There's Kristen Max, one of last year's alumni, Elise Chavez, who's also Isagenix. Some more testimonials there. Here's what you get. 8 weeks, a brand library filled with printable resources, lifetime access. And here is where you can enroll, either choosing your pay in full or enroll now for $129 a month. It comes out automatically 30 days after your first payment. So these are your two choices. Class begins on June 29th. That's a Monday and goes for 8 weeks. The live calls are every Friday. They are also recorded, so if you cannot make them, you don't lose the value. But it's really a great way to create an online repeatable business around your Isagenix products and your own skills and brand. And it's not theoretical. I walk you through exactly how to do everything, and if something is unclear, you have the weekly call with me for any clarification. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point. One of the girls can let me know if they can see me or not.
See you.
See you.
All right, excellent. So let's see. Are there any final thoughts, any questions from any other girls on the panel?
Liz, I don't have any questions, but I just wanted to thank you for sharing this information with everyone tonight, because I think that what you just shared about Be the Brand Academy is really great for people who are just getting started and want to be the CEO of their own business, but really are just getting started and not sure where to go. So thank you for all this information.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Let's see what's any other comments. Looks like we have one more question from Susie. Susie's going to be our next big brand, guys, because she's all over this. She says, what do I post as my business on LinkedIn? So this is the fun part, Susie. Again, I want to remind you guys to go check out Jamie Lynn Curley's LinkedIn profile. Jamie, remind us what you used as your title. It was something super cool. What was it that you used?
I think it has something to do with like life hacker or something fun like that. Start your life stylist, or I played around with a bunch of different titles for myself personally, and I have to say that again, one of the things that Liz forced me to do was to step outside of my comfort zone and to play around on LinkedIn a little bit, and I was not very active, and I still have a long ways to go as far as being active on LinkedIn. But when I changed my profile picture and when I added the tailor-made life as my brand, the profile views skyrocketed, and a lot of people reached out to me. A lot of people from my previous career and said, "What are you doing? Did you change companies? What do you have going on?" So it created a lot of excitement and buzz. So LinkedIn is a huge place to really connect with business people, as Liz mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I remember when Jamie put up her LinkedIn profile, she immediately sent me a message. All of my clients have private Facebook groups one-on-one with me. And she immediately messaged me. She's like, Liz, I don't know what I did here. I don't know what's going on, but and she sent me a screenshot of like her activity level. And she's like, I don't know what I did wrong, but there's people coming at me from every angle. And I was like, yeah, you just branded yourself, sister. So it was a really nice reaction for her to see really the difference, like Lucy Valdez, right? The difference that it makes with simply changing how you are viewed in the public, simply with imagery. That's all really she changed. So it's going to be really fun watching these gals and all of you really make huge strides in bringing your own personality and your heart work, really. That's what this is about. If there are any guys left on this call, I know that this sounds really woo-woo and kind of dumb, but oh well. But ladies, this is about your heart work, right? This is about the stuff that matters to you, the message to the world. You don't want to die and your kids know you as the shake lady. My mom was the shake lady. Like, no. You have more of a story in you. You have more of a message to the world and definitely more value to add. So forgive me if you cannot sleep tonight. I say that to all of my clients because typically this type of conversation really gets your wheels turning, and it awakens the fire that may have gone out or may be kind of blowing in the wind for a long time, because I would love nothing more than for all of you to shape your respective communities with your passion and your skills, along with the magic that Isagenix brings into everyone's lives that we all know about. So it's almost 11 o'clock. I am almost voice free. So I want to thank you all humbly from the bottom of my heart for the many of you who stayed on with us, who were here from 9 o'clock, and here we are almost 3 hours later. I am reachable. You can private message me. I'm looking at my Facebook friend requests since this webinar, and there's 22. So I hope to reach out to all of you and learn about all of you. I am deeply humbled that all of you are here tonight. My special co-hosts who have a tremendous value to add to the world, and I hope to see great things from everybody. So are there any closing remarks?
Thank you, Liz, so much for all that you have brought, not only to my business, but also to my life personally. I'm happy to call you one of my very good friends. You've mentored me through an amazing process and really bringing congruency through what was very scattered before you entered my life. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I ditto what Kristen said. It's been a really fun journey with you so far, Liz. Thank you.
Thank you, girls.
Yes, thank you, Liz, for your patience with me. I'm a work in progress, but it's coming along.
Yes, you're doing great. All of you are doing great, and that's the beauty of this thing is that everyone's at a different level, everyone's in a different space, but you can brand yourself no matter where you are. You know, Susie mentioned earlier, should I wait till I'm executive? Hell to the no. You are great the way you are, and your community can only benefit from watching you grow right in front of their eyes. So please, I know tonight it might be late for some of you, so if you don't do it tonight, take tomorrow to really figure out what message are you putting out into the world, and is it who you want to attract? Because let's face it, if you're attracting the wrong people, you can control that. It is what you are putting out. It's nobody else's fault but your own. Again, if you need help, if you need wisdom, if you have questions, please join the Isagenix Personal Branding Lab in Facebook. If you haven't friended me, please friend me because I am always on my private chat. I'm always available. And this will be recorded and replayed so you can actually review it in your own time. So I'm going to let you all go for now. It's now 10:45, but I appreciate, again, your incredible time that you've spent with me. I hope that you got a lot of actionable advice out of this. And I hope to see you on the other side of Facebook. I'm going to check really quickly to see if we have any more last-minute questions. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay, no, it doesn't look like we have any more questions, so it looks like everybody is ready to call it a night. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you brilliantly and blissfully brand yourselves very soon, and I really hope to see you inside of the Academy. We have a great time, and we build a ton of incredible businesses inside of that Academy. So thanks again, everyone. Hats off to you guys, and I'll see you inside the internet.
Bye, Liz. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.